This is brilliant, but it's very clunky. And I don't think that a lot of business owners have really understood how their clients or their customers feel about using a custom GPT, because it is very clunky. If you have to send instructions to your clients on how to use the tool, it's probably not going to work.
This is the number one problem that people have, and I just recently ran a poll that gave me the exact data that I was thinking it would bring, which is, what is the number one frustration that you have when it comes to content? And about 50% of the people said, I post, but it doesn't bring me any business. The reason that your content's not bringing any business is because you aren't talking about the right things that are resonating with the audience of people that would want to buy from you.
When I was introduced to vibe coding, all bets are off. All the barriers came down. I was able, Danny, to literally build anything. And so I built this first app. I built the version 1 and it was working. And I was like, oh my God, I can literally build anything.
All of these things that you are doing every day, this is where your best content ideas and your highest converting content ideas are going to come from. When you are hearing it from the mouth of the client or the mouth of the prospect, what their challenge is and what it is that they are looking to achieve and types of questions that they are asking. This is how you know that your content is hyper relevant.
When I started to see the system come into place, it just removed all those barriers. You want ideas? You got them. You want hooks? You got them. You want newsletters? You got them.
We got like this amazing thing coming.
And
we haven't been talking about it. I want to start with like how you came to me with the idea with an app already built from like an IP that I created. That's how this whole thing got started. Give me your thought process from when you saw that piece of IP that I had. How did you decide like, oh, this needs to be an app?
So when I saw that, I thought to myself that this is brilliant, but it's very clunky. And I don't think that a lot of business owners have really understood how their clients or their customers feel about using a custom GPT, because it is very clunky. If you have to send instructions to your clients on how to use the tool, then it's probably not going to work. So I was looking at it in a way where, how can I make this as frictionless as possible? Something that Danny might like to use on his own. So that's when I took the custom GPT and I didn't necessarily create a wrapper, but more a custom application that is doing what the custom GPT is doing in the background and making it completely invisible for the user, making it a seamless operation, making it somewhat fun to show up to every day. Because as we know, being content creators, it's freaking hard coming up with content all the time, right? So I thought to myself, what would it look like if we could, or I could create something that would want to make people create content? And so that's why I took this and I was like, hey, maybe there's something here. Maybe there's something. So I whipped up something in, I don't know, a couple hours. and that's when I sent you the URL, the domain, and you were like, oh my God, this is now the highest priority on my list. Because I didn't see the potential that you saw, but as we started to build this together, I started to see what you started to see, or what you already saw.
Yeah, it's really cool. Let's fill everybody in. So there's like a little bit of mystery right now because people have no idea what it is and what it does, right? I want to give you my thought process before I created what ended up being the inspiration for this. And the whole idea behind it is that one of the biggest problems that people have in creating content, especially for businesses, is they do not know what to post about.
Yes.
It's like, what do I post about, right? Like, where do I get my content ideas from? And obviously, ideas are everywhere. People overthink it because it's just like, well, how do I know my idea is good? That's the other thing. It's like, okay, I have this idea, but like, how do I know it's good? How do I know it's going to work? And then this is the number one problem that people have. And I just recently ran a poll that gave me the exact data that I was thinking it would bring, which is what is the number one frustration that you have when it comes to content? And about 50% of the people said, I post, but it doesn't bring me any business.
Yes.
And the likelihood is that the reason that your content's not bringing any business is because you aren't talking about the right things that are resonating with the audience of people that would want to buy from you. So the whole thought process behind me creating this content idea system was to extract content ideas from the everyday conversations that people are already having in their business. And those conversations could be a sales call with a prospect. It could be a client consultation where you are discussing some sort of strategy or giving a client some sort of advisement. It could be a workshop where you are running a workshop and teaching a bunch of people a skill or teaching a bunch of people something, right? Or it could be like an interview that you did. Like a lot of people are doing interviews on podcasts or whatever, right? Like talking about their business and talking about what they're doing. And all of these things that you are doing every day, this is where your best content ideas and your highest converting content ideas are going to come from. Because when you are hearing it from the mouth of the client or the mouth of the prospect, what their challenge is and what it is that they are looking to achieve and types of questions that they are asking, this is how you know that your content is hyper relevant. And you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about, is this going to work or not? And that was the whole idea behind building this system, which I built using AI, where I feed in a transcript of sales call, workshop, client consultation, podcast interview. I feed the transcript in, and this prompt extracts content ideas and it ranks them by top and bottom of funnel. High converting, high potential views. That was the idea that I had, and then obviously with some cool and different outputs, where it showed you, hey, if you want to make it into a short form video, like this is the angle to take, or if you want to make it into an email, like this is the angle to take, right?
That's the fun part.
Yeah, that's the fun part that we're going to get to here. So the idea was all I was doing was giving people step one, which is here's how to take your daily conversations, the things that you're already doing every day in your business, and turn that into your highest converting content. And then I made this really cheesy Notion document with the prompt attached and a video showing people how to go ahead and use it. And I give it away for free. I don't even ask for an email for it. I'm just giving it away. Anybody can access this prompt right now. And then you come back at me with this whole thing built into an app that makes it so much easier than having to copy the prompt. And then like, do I copy the prompt once or do I copy it every time? Do I start a project? Do I not start it? Like there's like all these things that like complicate using this thing. And you removed all of the complications and blew me away. And I was like, okay, now we've got something cool. But Antoni, that was just step one.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
We're talking about like having the vision come to life. So now you've got the content ideas, right? So what's next? Let's make the whole thing easy.
Exactly. Well, when you're creating content and you want the content ideas, you want them to flow as naturally as possible. And so when you have these content ideas already extracted, now you can do so much with it. You can create hooks. You can create content around it, whether it be for newsletters, emails, LinkedIn posts, IG posts, threads, Substack notes, whatever. It made it so much easier. And when we started to go down the rabbit hole of what that system might look like, it became so exciting because I could see how I would use it myself. I'm a customer of content, right? I've been following all these gurus on LinkedIn and other platforms to see how is it that I can make good content that can convert. And when I started to see the system come into place, it just removed all those barriers. Like there's no barriers anymore. You want ideas, you got them. You want hooks, you got them. You want newsletters, you got them. Like these are easy things that you can now, from a click of a button, get right in front of your face, copy paste into your system of whatever social media content you're creating, and hit post. It's that easy.
I think the important thing that we need to understand is like, absolutely, you can just go to ChatGPT or any AI and be
Sure.
like, spit me out a post. What this system does is that it uses your language, it uses your words, it uses your conversations. So it is pulling everything from your transcripts. So the first iteration of this app is let's turn your conversations into content ideas. The
Yeah.
next iteration now is that we are going to break those ideas. We're going to break it down into 5 different formats. Format number 1 is a written post. Short form written post. This is mainly for LinkedIn, could be for Instagram. Next thing is a short form video. So taking your words and giving you a potential script that you can use for a short form video, or even potentially maybe pulling a clip from your conversation, but most likely a script, right? Or outline for your short form videos. Then the next piece is long form written content. So how do I turn this into an email, a blog, a newsletter article? One more is a long form video. How do we take this concept that we've talked about and what's a good way to turn this concept into a long form video for YouTube, essentially? Or although now LinkedIn and TikTok, you could do longer videos on there as well, but mainly, when you think long form video, you think YouTube. The last thing is what I would call micro content, which to me is tweets, threads, Substack notes, like you were saying, even just like the images that you put on your content when you add one of those tweet images to your written content, or you add some text to an image. You see a lot of these billboard pictures and everything. This is the type of content that what goes on those billboard pics that you see out there, right? Breaking it down into those 5 categories, and then now being able to take your transcript and turn your transcript into any other piece of content style that you can imagine. That's the power of what we're building here. So my question to you now is that, like, it seems like a complicated thing to build.
It is. It is.
Right? But you're qualified in doing it. And I'm glad that I found you, obviously. And I'm glad that you made this test thing for me, right? Because, had you not done that, I would have never had any idea. Tell me a little bit about like how you have figured out how to build this complicated system that we're creating here.
Yeah. So I've been I was in the tech industry for approximately 2 decades. And I was going through different roles, systems administrator, cloud engineer, DevOps engineer. I even taught people cloud computing, how to do it. And my last gig in that time frame was a team coach for software developers. So when I got to a point where I was just done with corporate, I wanted to get out. And I'm prefacing this with all this context because you have to understand that my journey was not like everyone else's. It wasn't a one shot, this is what I was doing for 20 years. No. So when I left corporate, I started doing coaching. I started doing emotional intelligence coaching, of all things. And as we all know, as entrepreneurs, it's a battle. It's a battle to get that right fit where your customer says, yes, I want that. And so I was battling with the hundreds of thousands, millions of coaches on LinkedIn.
Everybody's a
To get,
coach.
to get business. Everyone's a coach. And I wasn't sure exactly how this is going to turn out. And I was getting ready to just go and find a job. Well, what had happened was somebody on LinkedIn had approached me and said, "Hey, Antoni, you have everything that I need to do my startup." I was like, "Tell me more." So this person had said, "Okay, well, you have the emotional intelligence skills, the coaching skills, and the technical skills to build this application that I want to build." And it was based around her framework, something that people could use, not in lieu of coaching, but as a supplement to coaching. And I didn't know how I was going to build it. Make a long story short, a friend of mine introduced me to vibe coding. For those of you who are not familiar with it, it's using AI to help you code. I don't know how to code. I understand the theory behind it. I understand when I look at something, I can tell what it is, but I don't know how to code. I do know the systems and the architecture and the security behind the application, but I don't know how to code. So when I was introduced to vibe coding, all bets are off. All the barriers came down. I was able, Danny, to literally build anything. And so I built this first app. I built the version 1 and it was working. And I was like, "Oh my God, I can literally build anything." So that's when I knew I was onto something, but I wanted to test the waters to see, is this a viable solution? Is this a viable service that I could offer to people? And I was telling a friend about it and they were like, "Hey, I got this thing that I want to build. I don't know if you can build it." I was like, "Dude, I can build anything." So he gave it to me, gave me this idea, and I turned it into an app in a couple hours. And it was working. And he loved it. And we iterated on it to a point where he's like, "I want you to build me 3 more apps." And that's when I saw your custom GPT online, I knew it was ripe for a product. It was ripe for the product that you wanted because I knew that you were doing the pivot from video on easy mode to content on easy mode. And I was like, this would be perfect for Danny because now he can not only launch content on easy mode, the service, but he can launch it as a product. And that's where I just took your custom GPT and made an application and boom, there it was.
Unreal. There it is. Yo, I just wanted to take a very quick break in the action here because I just realized something crazy. 85% of the people that are watching our videos on YouTube are not subscribed. This is what happens when you actually get smart people to look into your analytics. So if you are enjoying this content and you want more practical advice and tips on how to grow your brand and your business with video, please hit the subscribe button. I do truly appreciate it. And let's get back into the interview. It's really interesting. I actually was listening to a podcast about coding, about AI. It was about AI, and they were talking about coding. And everybody says that most people couldn't code because you needed to learn programming language. And now you can use English. He's like,
Yes.
so you can essentially build an app or a software application or whatever it is without programming because you can program in English. And this is
Yes.
essentially what you're doing. I mean, but on top of that, though, you do have like some technical skill and knowledge
Yes.
to be able to like build in all the functionality and features and all the things that we need, and like understanding of, what's required on the back end to continually run the application, no matter how many people we get on there. There's a lot more that goes into it than just even the coding part. And most people don't have the technical skill and knowledge to be able to do that, but you definitely do.
Yeah, like, I mean, we were talking about this just before we got on. Just logging in is a skill set on its own. Like, people have like years of experience just doing username and password, or Google sign in, or Facebook sign in. These are the types of things that require an understanding of how it works behind the scenes. So, when I said I'd love to offload this to Google or to another service provider for for uh for people to log in, is because I understand that when we launch this, there's going to be a lot of users on it, and I'm not willing for this to be short-sighted and have it break on us. So that's when I had to get really creative to say, okay, when this launches, how many people are we going to have, and how are people going to react with the authentication system? Because it's more than just username and password. It's, I forgot my password. Or when you first sign up, it's like you get a registered email saying, hey, thanks for joining us at Content on EasyMode. Things like that, a lot of people don't even think about.
Yeah, or when you sign into the app and it says, "What up, homie?" Like,
Exactly.
you've almost given it like a little bit of like a personality, which is fun. And like some of my personality, which is even more fun.
That was the main thing, when it came to you, Danny, and I was like, I want a piece of you in this app. And you're like, Antoni, I have no clue what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's when, I made it so this way when you log in, you get greeted by Danny.
It was funny too, because as we started to, kind of brainstorm and come up with different ideas, we had this idea that it was going to be a bunch of different applications. So we were going to have one app for content ideas, and then we were going to have one app for short form video, and one app for long form video, and we were going to have a bunch of different apps. And then I was like, wait, hold on a second. We need to have it as a workflow. We've had these like evolutions within about, and how long have we been working on it? Would you say like about 30 days?
About 4 weeks, yeah.
Okay, cool. And like, we're getting close to being able to get it out there. Tell everybody how we're going to get the beta version out there. Like, what are people going to be able to do to, kind of get on this thing?
Well, they're going to be able to upload their transcripts. They're going to be able to look at all the content ideas that is available to them. What that is exactly, I'm not sure. I know for sure it's going to be short form video and articles. So basically blogs or newsletters.
The first iteration will be, it's going to give them the ideas for, all the different formats. And basically what we're doing on the back end is we're populating it with data. I have a database that has like 1,500 short form video hooks. And I have another database that has 1,000 LinkedIn post hooks, all pulled by hand from top creators on these platforms, right? So the outputs that you're going to be getting from the tool are obviously taking your words and using the inspiration and the templates and like the proven content that we know works, and putting it into your words because it's using your transcript. The first iteration will be short form video and short form written posts. So anybody that will be jumping into the beta will be able to put their transcript in, get their content ideas, get hooks for short form video, get hooks for written posts. The next iteration will be, you'll have all 5 different content format options, and you will just Click on the option and it is going to generate the content in your words. That is going to be the final iteration of the app with all 5 of those pieces in there. And as far as like the way that it's going to work, we're still working it all out as far as pricing and upgrading and everything, but we're going to follow the same model that ChatGPT uses, which is we're going to give you the app for free and you're going to get a certain amount of usage. And then after that, you're going to be invited to upgrade, right? So that you can use it more and unlimited. So that's the kind of the rollout plan right now. The reason that we're giving this information to you now is basically because we're building this thing in public. I mean, the idea is like we're giving you what it's like inside building an AI-powered SaaS program for content creators. And this is the behind the scenes. This is what's happening. Honestly, I wish we would have recorded some more of our conversations. It would have been interesting for people to see. But hey, this is still pretty early on. We haven't even released the beta to anybody yet. So
I know.
we're ahead of the game.
And Danny, I haven't told you this, but I have a vision of actually creating an app that's available for your phone, or even making it mobile friendly. Because I know a lot of people, they don't do their content on computers. They do it on their phones. So I was thinking, wouldn't it be great for those people who are either always on the go, or they don't have a computer, or they just genuinely enjoy doing everything on their phone? So why not release it so that way you can use it on your phone? And so that's in the pipeline, where I'm already starting to think about what's that going to look like.
And this is where we're at. Like, so like we get into these brainstorms and we get into these thoughts about like, can we sync it up with Canva and pull the data right into Canva so that it takes your written post and turns it into a carousel? Can we pull the data into a program like Submagic to automatically create your video clips if you upload your entire video, as opposed to like uploading a transcript or whatever, right? So like these are all the future kind of potential use cases on like how can we sync it? How can we integrate it with other apps? How can we make this the best freaking content machine that you can possibly get for your business? And again, because it is powered by AI, because like everything needs to be powered by AI. This is 2025, almost 2026. Everything needs to be powered by AI. But at the same time, like, you know, we're both on LinkedIn every day and we look at the horrible, horrible content that is just written by AI without the right input. And that's the whole idea, is like the worse your input is, the worse the content is. That's why we want to give the input being your insights and your stories and your voice, plus all the data and all the proven hooks and all the proven styles and formats, and mix that with your voice to create like the ultimate content that doesn't just sound like everybody else's AI stuff. And I think that's what the power is going to be of this application, right? You know, again, we're in the beginning stages. We're coming to you guys really early. We're going to be looking for beta users. So anybody that wants to get on the beta, you'll be able to come in and message us and we'll get you into the beta version. And then we're also going to make some like really good pricing incentives for the early adopters of this tool as well. So if you get in and you upgrade into a tier, basically you're going to get all the future adjustments and additions and all these great things that we're going to be building in the future. Like you're going to get that exactly the founders pricing, or like the early adopter pricing, whatever it is. That's what we're working through right now. This has been so much fun for me because the last 2 years I've been really focused on growing and improving the service that I've been delivering for clients. But what I have not been doing is doing like a lot of building something new. This has been so much fun to build. It's also, for me, it's been so much fun to build with a partner, because almost everything that I've done, like, yes, I've built it alongside mentors and I've had a lot of peers and people give me input or whatever, but I haven't had a partnership like this where we can just bounce ideas off of each other, and where, you know, you can take a vision that I have and say, hey, like, I think this makes a lot of sense, but we could do it better. So it's just been an exciting thing to like be able to partner up and work on this thing and build it together, especially since, again, we met each other through content and now we're building a content engine so that other people can experience the same kind of thing. And I've built my entire business through content. 3 years ago, I didn't really even have a business. And like, I'm over $300,000 in revenue for this year for my solo company or whatever. Like it's all on the backs of organic content. I see the power of it and I don't have a huge following. I don't have millions of followers. I don't want to say like average. I have a very above average people, but I have an average sized following. I'm not an influencer. I don't have like massive reach, but I've still been able to build a really good business on organic content. And like one of the things that I talk about all the time with, when I go out and speak at conferences or when I, am working with clients or talking to prospects about my services is like, you don't need to be an influencer in order to benefit from content for your business. Like your business can get a lot out of content and you don't need to be this big giant creator and you don't need to feel the pressure of like constantly having to put out the best, most amazing content or whatever. And what we want to do is just make it easier for you as a business to create content.
And make it you.
Make it you and make it easier and make it like less stress. And that's like where the whole, like I've been using easy mode, for the past 2 years. I own video on easymode.com. I own testimonials on easymode.com. I own content on easymode.com. Like I went out and bought these domains because I'm like, this is it. Like it's easy mode. This is the thing. It's just been like so much fun. And I'm so glad to be doing it with you.
The sentiment is the same for me, Danny. I couldn't have picked a better partner because I know how much you are investing, not just with money, but in time and effort in creating this whole concept of content on easy mode, everything on easy mode, because it is, it's something that every creator wants. Every creator wants things to be easy for them so that way they can post. We have these big influencers saying you need to post like 4 to 6 times a day. How can you really do that if things are so difficult? This breaks down those barriers. And as you were saying, doing it with building something with somebody else is so much more fun and so much more, I don't know. I would just say it's been unlike any other partnership that I've had because we're so excited about it. And, I have a couple other partnerships where I'm just as excited, but the product's different, right? So whenever the product's different, it has a certain, I don't know, I guess you could say, tone to it. And this for me is like, it's a fun thing to do because creating content's supposed to be fun, right? And this really brings that out in me. It really brings out the creative side, that little kid in me that's always wanted to create more content, especially when it comes to, ironically, video.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Cool. So look, this video that we've just created is going to be a foundational piece of content that we are going to use content on easy mode to create multiple pieces of content from this video. I'd probably say that Antoni and I will at least get 20 pieces of content at minimum from this 39 minutes session. So before we get any sappier, we're going to close this one out. If you want to get on the content on easy mode beta, all of the information will be down in the description below. You can go ahead and get that. We are so excited to share this with the world, and we got big plans for this thing.
So excited. This is going to be awesome.